Number one for hip hop and R&B. This is the B2C team. My name is Jenny Boom Boom. DJ Michi is here with me. Hi, Meech.
What's up? What's up? The countdown begins, Jenny.
Yes, sir. It's almost election day. It's happening this Tuesday. And that's why we have Jason Black here from the Community Renewal Team to talk to us about voting, especially for first-time voters. So welcome,
Absolutely.
Jason.
Jenny and Meech, thank you both very much. Really appreciate the chance to catch up with you both, and let's talk voting. Let's talk election day.
Yeah, so Michi is very worked up about the election. He's just, he's been mentioning it every day on the air. You know, he's got all this like, he's got bubble guts over the situation. Like he doesn't. So what are your thoughts here, Jason?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess what's interesting to me is the fact that people have had the ability to do their absentee ballots or vote by mail, right, here in Connecticut and across most of the country. Sadly, we don't have early voting here in Connecticut yet, the way a lot of states do. And it's ironic to me that Connecticut doesn't, right? It feels like we're behind schedule on that one. And, you know, maybe for the next election. But you'll be able to vote at the polls on Election Day on Tuesday, November the 3rd. Polls will be open all day for that. But if you are someone who wanted to vote by mail, if you have your absentee ballot at home with you now, don't stick it in a regular mailbox at this point, okay? Because it may not get back to where it needs to be on time. Finish it, sign it, seal it up. There's double envelopes that you're going to have to do. It's a little bit of work that way, but it's very straightforward. They provide very clear instructions on how to fill it out. But at that point, when you're done, you take that to your local town hall or city hall, and there will be a safe and secure drop box for those ballots. Put it in that drop box only, right? That's the only place to drop it off in your town or in your city. Don't stick it in if you stick it in the mail and, you know, the election's 2 days away, it may not get there in time, and then your vote might not count.
Because it has to be there by November 3rd.
Well, I mean, to be safe, it should be by end of day, November 3rd. Yeah.
Because if it comes November 4th, it doesn't count.
It might not. In Connecticut, I think it's unclear yet, but we're seeing a lot of challenges in states nationwide, particularly from one of the two parties who are saying that, you know, it shouldn't count if it's after the 3rd. And you don't want to take that chance, right? This election is way too important to mess around. Right. So if you plan to vote, if you have not already voted, and if you're uncomfortable voting in person, and I know we're going to talk about voting in person and what people need to do with that, you have your absentee ballot, fill it out, but then take it to one of those. It's a secure drop box. Like the one in my town is actually video monitored.
Oh, wow.
I'm guessing that that's probably the case for most of them. Right. So you know that it's safe and it's secure and it's, you know, it's fireproof and all that. It's there for a reason to ensure that you can vote safely in this election.
So I saw a story, I think it was on TMZ or CNN, where a store down south was actually accepting ballots. A store.
No.
And people who, by the way, you know, in the store, they had a lot of like Trump merchandise and whatever, and they were encouraging people to drop off their ballots there. So if you're hearing of anyone doing anything like that here in Connecticut, Jason, that is not the correct thing to do.
That would probably be fraud.
Okay.
Right? That in all likelihood, right? Because those boxes that you find in front of town halls or city halls across the state, those are official boxes. They're very simple. They, you know, it looks like a mailbox, right? But it's sort of a off-white color. It's got, you know, the labeling on it that says, you know, this is for your, either to return your voter registration information if it was sort of earlier in the season. Now at this point, it's to return your ballot, right? Your completed ballot goes right in that box. It's secure and safe. And that's the only place to drop it off. Anybody who tells you anything else, they're screwing with you, and do not listen to them.
Okay. Yeah. So election day comes and I want to go vote in person.
Right.
Which I'm going to, and I know Michi, you are too. It's going to be a very exciting day.
Good for you. Yeah.
So when we go there to vote, tell us a little bit about the process of voting.
Yeah. Right. So let's start at the very beginning here, right? So Tuesday, November the 3rd, you wake up and you're thinking, yep, it's election day. I'm going to go vote. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. on election day. So if you need to vote before you go to work, or if you want to vote after work, you'll have time to do that. But give yourself enough time, right? We don't have early voting here in Connecticut as they do in many other places, as we said before. So you're going to have to expect there's probably going to be a wait, right?
Right.
It may not be all day, as we've seen in some parts of the country, but it's going to take some time. Give yourself a good hour plus to make sure you have time to vote that day. Make sure your cell phone is charged so you can, be on Facebook or whatever you want to do while you're waiting to vote, right? Pack a snack, right? And have a granola bar and maybe your water bottle, and make sure you went to the bathroom before you got in line, and whatever you need to do to make sure that you're prepared to stand there and wait in line. Have a mask as well, right? That social distancing rules are going to be enforced at the polling places. That's going to be expected of everyone. Mm-hmm. And that's really, really important, of course. But be patient that day. Here's another thing. Bring a photo ID of some kind, right? You'll need some sort of proof of who you are and your residency. It doesn't have to be like a license necessarily, but it does need to have something that shows your name and your address and probably your signature. Just so particularly if you're a first-time voter, if you've never voted before, but you're registered to vote in the state of Connecticut, and over 1 million people are registered to vote here in the state of Connecticut, which is pretty awesome, right? And a lot of those folks are going to be first-time voters, right? My son, for instance, he's going to be a first-time voter this year, and he's very excited about that. And
I'm sure.
He's going to go vote in person. I know that's his plan. Yeah. But yeah, again, be prepared to wait for a little while. Get there early if you can to make it easier on yourself. And go and do it and take your time and go vote. You're voting for president and vice president, obviously very important. You're going to be voting for a congressional representative in your district. So that will change depending on what district that you're in here in Connecticut. You're going to be voting probably for some local officials as well, like state representatives and maybe other local reps within your community. So don't just look at the top of the sheet that you fill out. Right? They want you to fill out the whole ballot. And it's not going to take you that long. It'll take you, a minute or so, right?
And then you get the I voted sticker.
Get that sticker at the end. That's right.
And then you can put it on Instagram.
That's
it's always fun.
Right?
It's fun.
It's cool. Yeah. It is. I mean, it's goofy, but it's fun, right? And it's important.
Yeah.
It gives you a chance to show everyone that you have done your part. You've exercised your right to vote. And it's a right to vote in this country. And a lot of people, they either take it for granted or they think, oh, it's not going to matter. It's not going to count for much because I live here in Connecticut and I already know Connecticut is a blue state. So why do I need to do that? Don't take it for granted.
Right.
This year, especially, if you plan to vote on election day, make sure you give yourself enough time to go get to the polls. You can find, if you don't know where your polling location is, for some reason, for a lot of folks, it's going to be at a local school, right? Now, that's where a lot of them tend to be here in Connecticut. You can go online, you go to myvote.ct.gov, and you can look up your specific polling location, and it'll tell you where you can go vote that day.
Okay, because Meech, I know you're going to vote in New Britain, right?
Yeah, and it's at a local school.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to go to a local school too around me. And I know you're actually working that day, right?
Right. Well, I'm volunteering that day. My fiance and I are both going to volunteer to help count absentee ballots in our town.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. It's our first time doing that. We know it's important. Both of us chose to vote by mail this year, and we've already turned those in. Actually, and here's a nice thing too that you can do. You can go online and you can actually see if you are voting by mail, and if you're concerned, if you're worried, did they get my ballot? Did it arrive? Mm-hmm. You can check online.
Wow.
Through the state of Connecticut, you can go. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? You can go in and you can check, and it will confirm for you, yes, your ballot was received.
Nice.
Okay.
Which is
That's
awesome.
so great.
So then, okay, good, off my mind, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, one less thing to worry about.
So I know there have been some reports of voter intimidation around the country. I mean, I know some folks around the country have actually received mailers telling people that they better vote for one side or the other because of, there could be violence or, someone could come after them or whatever. So, and even, we've heard reports in the past of voter intimidation at the polls. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that, Jay?
Yeah, no, please. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a really important question. And let's be honest, that voter intimidation, voter suppression, that's illegal, right? That's illegal both in the state and federal law. It is illegal. Do not be pushed around when it comes to voting. You have the right to vote as guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. So here's the thing. If for whatever reason you're at the polling place on election day, on Tuesday, and something wonky happens, right? Something goes on that you're not comfortable. Somebody's parading up and down the lane trying to look all tough, and don't put up with that. There's a number you can call for the state, which is, can I give that number now? I guess that probably makes sense.
Yeah, please give the number.
Yeah, so it's a quick number, 866-733-2463. One more time, 866-733-2463. Or maybe even easier, send a quick email to elections@ct.gov and report what you are seeing right away. Do not wait, right? Do that as soon as possible. And when you're doing it, you can make an anonymous report if you want, if you're uncomfortable, you don't want to give your name. But they do need to know as much as possible as far as like, where are you? What town or city are you in? Where is your polling location? And try to describe as much as possible what you are witnessing, right? The election officials through the Secretary of State's office, through Secretary Merrill's office, they need to know this as it's happening, if it's happening, so that they can take appropriate action. You know, I'm hoping, right, knock on wood, hope that nobody really needs this year, but it's there just in case. And so, you know, one more time, if for any reason on election day you are feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling somebody's messing with you and they're intimidating you, or they're trying to intimidate you and to convince you that you shouldn't be there to vote, report them now. Or on that day, report them, and you call 866-733-2463 or send a quick email to elections@ct.gov.
I know the voter turnout already, I mean, around the country has just been crazy. Like, there's so many people voting this year, which, you know, and my daughter keeps saying, you know, mommy, because she's, you know, she's 17, she can't vote yet, but she goes, mommy, you know, my generation is going to save the world. And I'm like, I hope so, you know, I hope things will change with them. But, you know, I do believe that Tuesday is going to be a big deal in Connecticut. There's going to be a lot of people at the polls. And as much as I really hate getting up in the morning, I'm not a morning person. I plan to get out there with, you know, all the 80 and 90 year olds. I'm going to be there in the morning, first thing, to vote, so I can get back home and be safe. And, you know, because we were talking about this a little bit before we even came on today, but there are certain cities around the United States that are starting to board up their stores and whatever, because they believe there will be rioting and looting after this election.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I certainly hope that those are premature plans, right? And that people will, you know, this is one of the things that's amazing about our country is the fact that year after year, we are able to have safe and peaceful elections, right? And a safe and secure, you know, the results, and if the results change, if it's a new president who is elected as a result of this election, that there will be a safe transfer of power when that happens.
Like,
come January, what we will hope, right? We will hope that that's the case, right?
Right.
I mean, I've never heard. I mean, I've been around for a little while now here on this earth, and I have never heard of anything that is even remotely like what is going on now.
Yeah, it's frightening, honestly, and it is. It's and you know, not. But that said, right? Let's again remind people who are listening this morning. Election day is on Tuesday. You've got 2 more days. You'll go and you'll vote, and you're going to go home, as you said, or you go to work if it's your day to go to work, or, you know, whatever the case, or you go back and be with the kids. But you will have done your part. Super important that you take that time and exercise that right to vote this year. Perhaps the most important election of our lifetime, right? For many of us.
Yeah, I agree.
No matter how you decide to vote, right? That's your prerogative, but please make the time to go vote. And then, you know, that night we're going to all be sitting around watching the results. And here's the thing. I mean, this year, because it is contentious, because there is so much going on with early voting now more than ever before, because there's so much going on with the mail-in absentee ballots that will have to be counted, we may not know on election night who the winner is. Right. We'll all have our hopes and our expectations. But it may be premature on Tuesday night to see a winner declared. It may take a few days or more.
I think it will, actually. I'm predicting it will. If it's close.
If it's close, it's going to take a long time, and stuff's going to go to court. And there'll be all kinds of, it's going to be lots of headaches, right?
Yeah.
For folks, and a lot of anxiety for people who are going to have
Like
to
Michi
wait.
over there, he can't eat, he can't sleep.
Oh, yeah, you're looking a little skinny there, man.
Michi, are you going to be okay?
And I think
Yeah.
I have the opposite effect, right? I just eat more. The stress from the
Oh,
election.
don't worry about it. I'm stocking up on liquor over here. I got booze.
No.
I'll be drunk from like Tuesday all the way through until we figure this thing out.
So we know a winner.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, and we'll be binging on whatever leftover Halloween candy we have at that
Yeah.
point.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I get it for sure. No, absolutely. But again, I mean, so it's important. And as we were saying before, if again, let's go back to your original question, Jenny. If this is your first time voting, right? Congratulations, right? Good for you. This is amazing. You are about to experience something that very few people will be able to say they've done the way that you will get to do it, right? The election process in the United States of America is a singular and unique thing that most of the world looks to as a model, right, for how it should be done.
Well, they used to, yeah.
They used to, right? Maybe not after this election, right? This election has raised a lot of questions and a lot of concerns and worries. And
people from around the world are looking at us like, well, dang, wasn't that country? Didn't they have it together?
Yeah, and that's scary, right?
Yeah.
And again, this year certainly because of COVID and safety and health concerns, right? Everybody has to, I've seen a lot of advertising online and on TV saying, make a plan. Right? Which is good advice, right? Make a plan for what you plan to do on election day if your expectation is that you're going to vote in person. Right. Oh, and here's one more thing to mention, which I think is really, really important. I mean, there's lots of stuff to talk about, but one thing that I forgot to mention before, which is really, it's kind of cool. So hypothetically, you're listening right now and you're like, oh, I'm not registered to vote, right? But I'm eligible. I'm over the age of 18. I'm a U.S. citizen. Here's the thing. You can vote. You can both register and vote on election day.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Jason, you just blew my mind.
Right.
Because we just had you back on last weekend talking about October 27th was the last day.
That's right. And CRT was doing a big push to remind people to register to vote by the 27th. And that's the official cutoff, right? And so that's come and gone. Understood. But here's the thing, and this is really cool, and a lot of people don't know this, so I'm glad we get to talk about this now. All right, so hypothetically, you're out there and you're listening, you're not registered, but you really want to vote on Tuesday. It is possible, right? It's going to take more work, but it is possible. So here's what you have to do. You have to go to your town hall that day. You're not going to go to your normal polling place because they will turn you around and say, go to town hall. Right. So, but you'll go to town hall. You're going to need to bring proof of your identity and proof of residency within that town or city that you live in. But they will register you on the spot and you will vote on the spot. Then
that is so great.
Right. Yeah. Done. Yeah.
Is this something new or is this?
No, this has existed for at least a few years now. I don't know exactly how long, but there is same day voter registration and voting in the state of Connecticut. Yeah, we're very lucky to have that because I don't think you're going to find that nationwide. And again, it's a little more complicated, right? Because you do have to go to your town hall or your city hall to make that happen. But there will be people there at the facility, like it'll probably be like the registrar of voters or someone who works for that person who will take your information, who will, you'll fill out a form, presumably, right? As you would when you register to vote normally. And they'll say, yep, okay, they approve it. And then they're going to hand you a ballot. And you can do the ballot then and there on the spot and vote the same day that you register if you're in that situation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I'm so glad you gave us that information.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad
because for all these people that were just like maybe saying, oh my gosh, I didn't get everything in by the 27th. I didn't get online. Now they know they can go as long as they're over 18 and a U.S. citizen. They can go and register to vote and vote the same day, which is awesome.
Vote the same day. Huge, right? Huge. And again, you're not going to go to your polling place. You will go to your town hall, your city hall to make that happen. But it is possible, right?
Okay.
I mean, and again, as we've been talking about, this election year, now more than ever, your vote is very, very important. We need you to make the time and go do it. Go vote. Huge.
So again, what are the hours for this Tuesday?
Yeah, so this Tuesday on election day, you can start at 6 a.m. And straight through until 8 p.m. And actually, here's one more point with that, Jenny, as well. So say you have to go after work to vote and you get there and there's a long line and you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to get to vote, right? They're going to close. And if you are in line before 8 o'clock, you're standing in line and they know that you're there, even if 8 o'clock comes and goes and you're still in line, you will be able to vote. You will be allowed to vote. Even, it could be 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at that point, right? I hope it's not going to be that late, but as long as you are in line at your polling place by 8 p.m. on election day, don't be late, right? Get there early, please.
That's awesome. That's so great.
You will be able to vote on election day. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise, right? I mean, again, gets back to part of our conversation before about voter intimidation and that sort of thing. From, oh, you're too late, you can't stay, right? If anybody tells you that, they're wrong. They're just wrong.
I feel like I need Jason with me when I go
Right.
out places.
I'll be with.
She's like, that was wrong. And Jenny, we're about to call this number and report it right now.
Yeah. No, it's so important that people understand that this is your right. Right. You are entitled to vote as a U.S. citizen, and it's one of those things we don't get to do a lot necessarily that are guaranteed under the Constitution. But here we go. This is one of those things, and particularly in a presidential election cycle every 4 years, right? Now more than ever, if you are planning to vote on Tuesday, make sure you give yourself enough time and do your thing. And get that sticker. Right?
So, Jason, before you go, I know that we have to touch upon the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program. There was a little snow over the weekend. It's cold. I don't know if you turned your heat on yet. I turned mine on. I tried not to. Always try to hold out to November 1st. My heat is on.
Friday night. Yeah, Friday night we broke down.
It's cold.
It got cold.
It's getting cold. Meet your heat on?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Meechie's heat is on. So, again, give us the information about the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program.
Yeah.
How can we apply so we can get free fuel or free whatever, from the state?
Right. No, huge. Thank you for mentioning that. And this is a great way to end things, right? So yeah, winter is around the corner. It has gotten colder. We turned the heat on Friday. We broke down. I've been holding off as long as possible.
I try.
Yeah. And oil's expensive, right? And many of your fuel sources they ain't cheap, right? But happily in the state of Connecticut, there's an amazing program from the state, the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program. And many, many households are going to be eligible for this program this year, probably more than ever before in light of COVID, in light of higher unemployment this year, right? And people finding themselves in a situation where they need access to these services and maybe they didn't even know that they were eligible. Right. For instance, if you're in a household with a family of 4, the income, and there are income limits to determine eligibility for the program. But as an example, in a family of 4, the income limit is around $72,000 a year.
That's so great.
Which is pretty good, right?
That's great.
That qualifies a lot of families in the state of Connecticut, right? Yeah, pretty darn cool. So if you're in the central part of Connecticut, Hartford County, Middlesex County, CRT, the Community Renewal Team, we can help you. We can help you to sign up for energy assistance, which will help to pay for your home heating expenses this winter, assuming you're qualified. And the best way to do that is to reach out to CRT by phone. They have a hotline number for energy assistance, which is 860-560-5800. There are representatives there. They speak English, they speak Spanish, and they will be more than happy to walk you through the process and help you to fill out the application. It's a lot of paperwork, let's be honest, but
it's worth it.
It's going to be worth it, right? Because you very well may get part of your heating expenses paid for the coming winter months. And here's what's cool too: fuel deliveries for those who are in the program actually start tomorrow on Monday, November the 2nd. So, but it's not too late. If you haven't already applied, apply now, see if you're eligible. And then get in the program, and it covers all kinds of fuel options too, which is pretty incredible. So it's oil and propane and gas and electricity. Even if you happen to heat your house with wood or wood pellets, those qualify too.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a huge program from the state of Connecticut every single year. Last year, CRT helped over 20,000 households alone, just in Central Connecticut.
And no one knows.
Oh, not enough people know. That's my point.
I'm saying no one knows when you apply.
Oh, sure.
It's
no, that's a good
anonymous.
right.
Like,
It's not. Right. We're not gonna.
They don't tell your business.
Right.
So if you need a little help,
right.
Go fill out the paperwork, because what do you have to lose?
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. There's
a lot of folks worry, especially now. I'm just saying it because people are in different income brackets than they used to be
Right.
because of
Yes.
COVID-19.
Yeah,
And
because things have changed.
some folks have a hard time reaching out for help, like, you know,
Mhm.
because they just didn't think they'd be in this position, right?
Right.
So I'm just trying to stress that this is something that no one would ever know you're getting
Right.
help with.
Yeah, absolutely. And really there's no shame, right, in this. Please, please, please,
Right.
if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to be a burden, I don't want anybody to, right, know my business, that's not what this is about.
Right. Do what you have to do for your family.
Yeah.
Help protect your family, help save some money. And think about it, right? If you have to have oil delivered to your home or electricity to heat your home over the winter months, that can add up to be hundreds and
So
hundreds of dollars
expensive.
per delivery, right?
Yeah.
And these days, if you're forced to make some economic choices around,
Mhm.
well, do I get heat paid for? Do I buy the groceries? Do I get a new winter coat for Junior? Right? Those are, nobody should have to make decisions like that.
No.
Right? So use programs like the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program to help you out.
And I know the last time we spoke too, you said Michi, you know, because you know Michi's a single man, very
Mhm.
eligible, ladies. But you also said that
Mhm.
single people are
Yes.
eligible for this program as well. It's not just people with kids.
No, for sure. It's any household size, right? It is, and the income limits will vary based on the size of your household. And I gave that one example, but it varies based on household size. The folks from CRT's call center, they can help you to make that determination, understand what you're eligible for.
Right.
And so, yeah, there's no harm in asking.
Okay, so give us the number one more time.
Yeah, one more time, that hotline number, 860-560-5800 is